Hello, welcome to For F1's Sake, a podcast by two idiotic Formula One fans chatting absolute nonsense and offering our ridiculously biased opinions. I'm Tom.
And I'm Brad.
And I think today it's just a quick one to kind of explain the podcast. Obviously, it's a fairly new one, just kind of to give you an insight as to who we are, what we'll be discussing, and the podcast will be going out so you can kind of know what to expect over the course of this season. Obviously, we're not experts, as we suggested in the introduction.
Speak for yourself, mate.
We're self-confessed experts, but in a technical sense, we've got no expertise whatsoever. We're just lifelong F1 fans. We've been to the races. We went to Abu Dhabi last season, 2021. Brad, I know you've been to quite a few races over the course of a few years.
Yeah, mostly Abu Dhabi, actually. I think the ones that I've been to, the ones I remember at least, so very young for the other ones, has all been Abu Dhabi, but I want to go to more. I love Formula One. We both love Formula One. This is pretty much all we talk about. So yeah.
This is just a platform for us to kind of voice our biased opinions, essentially. I mean, we have so much to say at the end of each race, at the end of each week. Rather than keeping it ahead, we thought we'd share it with you lot. And obviously, there will become some very biased opinions. We don't confess to be unbiased and impartial, much like the media outlets propose. We just kind of voice our own opinions, kind of discuss what we want to discuss at the end of each week. kind of on that topic, we will be looking to kind of, release a podcast at the end of each race week, kind of discussing, our thoughts and opinions on the race, just kind of run through, what we thought essentially. And obviously, I am, as you would hear if you've listened to episode 1, a huge McLaren fan. Brad is a huge Hamilton fan, and so you will be getting some biased opinions in that sense of the word. But yeah, it's a kind of,
aren't we?
We are going to argue a little bit. There will be some
Definitely
There will be some controversy over the course of the year. I mean, I was quite happy that Verstappen won at the end of last season. Brad obviously was not.
I can't believe you just said that to me, dickhead. Oh my god! I mean, that's another point. This is probably not going to be a family-friendly podcast. So if you've got some children around, probably keep this to yourself.
Yeah, if you've got kids in the car, maybe not the best one to listen to.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, it's just a candid podcast, kind of discussing our opinions. And as the podcast goes on, it would be interesting if we've got any listeners, if you do exist, to get your thoughts and opinions on it. We're always looking for some input in terms of episodes, what you want to hear, maybe your own opinions, whether you completely disagree with us or whether you agree with us wholeheartedly. Maybe we're telling you the truth that you don't hear from the standard media outlets. Who knows? But we just kind of wanted to give a fairly quick introduction as to kind of what this is going to be about, who we are, and what the podcast is going to be.
So,
as much as we'd love to be,
we're literally just fans. That's all we are.
We are literally just fans sat in a little room making a podcast about what we love. And so, if that's you and you want to hear our ridiculous opinions, please tune in. Like I said, we'll be trying to get a podcast out each week at the end of each race, voice our opinions, and please feel free to join in and offer up your own.
Before we end this little intro, I just want to say what our goals might be for this podcast, for us personally. Because I think for me, I'd love to be able to go and do like live podcasts and things like that and be in person. And maybe that's not for you, but I would love to go to Formula One races and be able to give like live opinions on what's happening.
I'd love for us to be able to get to a point where we are boots on the ground.
Can you imagine?
I think... Yeah. Let's set that as a goal. If you're listening out there, share this podcast. Let's get it to a point where we can apply for a press pass.
And then another goal, and I think this could be an interesting one. I think within how many years do you reckon? I would say maybe 2 years. Let's say 2 years. I want to be able to get one of the drivers or an ex-driver on this podcast to do a little guest appearance of us.
Well, what you won't have heard is on a podcast that we did last week that actually never saw the light of day. Brad, due to the fact of his location being based in Jersey, actually lives around the corner from Nigel Mansell. And so the more support we get, the more likely we are to bring Nigel Mansell onto the podcast.
Let's hope that we can get our audio sorted out for when Mansell comes on the podcast. Can you imagine what a world? But I want the person I want to have most on this podcast is probably get Lando on this.
Yeah, of all the people that would be likely to do it, Lando would probably be the one.
He'd probably do it now.
He probably would. He probably would. But I think we want to keep it fairly light-hearted. We don't want to bring too much seriousness into the podcast. like we said, we don't come from a perspective of technical knowledge. We just come from a passion and love of the sport, really.
Yeah, hopefully similar to our listeners as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you are listening to this, you're most likely to be thoroughly embedded into F1 and will most likely know a lot more than we do. And so if we do get anything wrong, apologies. We are only human.
We're going to get things wrong. We're going to get a lot wrong.
We probably will. But, we'll chat absolute nonsense for days. And we know there's never enough Formula One content out there. And so if you are looking for a bit of extra, you know where we are.
Exactly.
So with that being said, thanks for listening again. If you've not listened to it already, please listen to episode 1, where we discuss, the launches of the cars, F1 testing, what we're expecting for this season, what we're excited about. It's all encapsulated into that first podcast, and then the next one will be out post Bahrain testing. So thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you soon.